Today we are going to talk about McLaren, which is becoming a bit of a disaster because every week a new McLaren comes out. And that's the subject of this video. McLaren has too many vehicles.
I want to start this video by saying, yes, McLaren does have a problem with the number of cars they're putting out every year. But there are some things Doug didn't get right in his video, and there's also a fascinating reason behind McLaren's business plan that most people seem to not appreciate. Alright, let's get started.
It is possible to have too many special cars, and that is really the situation that McLaren is in. McLaren is a brand that makes special cars, and they now have 12 models, I think, in their current lineup. Oh my, is that true?
No, it's not true. McLaren has roughly 6 models in their lineup, which are the Artura, which replaces the plethora of 570 base cars, the GT, the 720 with the convertible and its track-focused 765 LT. Now, considering McLaren claims the Speedtail, the Senna, and the Senna GTR have been sold out, I don't think we can count them as being in the current lineup, because you can't walk into a dealership and order a brand new one, according to McLaren. So that leaves the Elva in the Ultimate Series, which has had its production numbers cut multiple times from 400 to 250 to 150, and McLaren hasn't claimed it's sold out, so 6 models in their lineup, not 12.
And I recently did a review of the McLaren Artura, which is the newest, hottest, most exciting McLaren, and I was kind of disappointed in the amount of views that it got, so I went on YouTube to check out what other Artura videos were getting. And my video got way more views than McLaren's own video on the car, announcing it for the first time.
Yes, the views on the Artura video may have been disappointing, but getting more views than the official video is not exactly uncommon for Doug's channel. It happened with the Ferrari F8, Portofino, Corvette C8, the Bronco. I could go on this. It's no secret that people would rather see a real person talking about the car rather than some cinematic trailer full of CGI.
And it was still a disappointing view count to me, because I think people have McLaren fatigue.
Yes, there is fatigue, but I don't think it's exclusive to McLaren. Lately, there have been so many unattainable high-performance cars, it's nearly impossible to keep track of them all. Especially with the new breed of electric, million-horsepower, $1 million hypercar stuff. Honestly, who cares about them?
Then they came out with a luxury version of the base model called the 570 GT. Then they came out with a different luxury version also based on that car called just the McLaren GT. That's separate from the 570 GT, by the way. 2 different vehicles, McLaren GT, McLaren 570 GT. Same engine, same platform, different cars. Both have GT in the name.
No, the McLaren GT isn't based on the 570. It actually has the engine from a 720. Well, it's a confusing car. It has parts from both the 720 and the 570, and it's difficult to make sense of it, but there's some logic to it. I'll talk about it later.
Here is a fun fact for you. McLaren currently has 7 ultra special cars in their lineup. You have the 600 LT, the special performance version 570S, the 620R, the special performance version of the special performance version, the 765 LT, which is supposed to be a special version of the 720S, until you consider that you also have the Senna, the Sabre, the Speedtail, and the Elva, all as special versions as well.
Right, this is the first of many times I'll mention this, but one of the big differences between McLaren and other brands is that they like to explore different concepts, and a lot of the times that comes at the expense of maintaining exclusivity, and it does get confusing for most people. I'll touch on this later.
For one thing, they're carving these segments so tight that it's becoming truly difficult to distinguish between all of these different models. What is the difference between the 600 LT and the 620R? I have driven them both, reviewed them both. I don't know.
Well, the 620R is based on the GT4 570 race car, and the 600 LT is the track-focused version of the 570 road car. Yes, they fill in very similar roles, but they get there using very different principles. The 620R tries to answer a question most people didn't ask, which is what will happen if we ignore most rules of GT4 racing and made a road car version of it. While the 600 LT tries to answer what would happen if we took the 570 road car and made it the best it can be on track. Again, it all goes back to what I was saying earlier of McLaren liking to explore different concepts at the expense of maintaining exclusivity.
What is the difference between the Sabre and the Senna? I truly and honestly cannot answer that question. They're practically identical.
The McLaren Sabre exists because some customers complained to McLaren that the Senna was too ugly and not exclusive enough. Yes, it is not that different from a Senna, but it didn't have to be.
What is the difference between the 570 GT and the GT? I don't know.
The 570 GT was McLaren's first attempt at making a more daily drivable car, but they felt like they could do better, so they made the GT a few years later. That's it. That's the logic to it.
The Speedtail too. I love the Speedtail. I have a real soft spot for the Speedtail. I'd love to review it.
Yes, the Speedtail is awesome. Doug should find a way to review it.
But the Sabre, the Elva, the 765 LT, is there a need for a 620R after a 600 LT and a 765 LT?
They are $200,000 plus cars. There's no genuine need for any of them.
McLaren makes special car after special car, seriously diminishing the specialness of each car. And it's to the point where I'm not even sure the 765 LT is a special car anymore because there are so many cars above it that are more special.
Yes, there may be other cars above the 765 LT, but what makes it special isn't necessarily its price. It's what it's been able to achieve considering how incredible the performance of the base vehicle is. To be able to extract as much as the 765 did from the base 720 is truly impressive. It is special. At least that's how I think McLaren wants their customers to perceive it.
I know why McLaren does this. They do this because they don't have enough people lining up to buy the normal cars. And so for them, the only way to make money is simple. They take a base car like a 570S or a 720S, and then they just come up with as many variants as possible. And they start trying to convince people that these variants are very special and very unique and very distinctive.
That's why I said previously that McLaren likes to explore different concepts. As Doug explained in the video, McLaren does not yet have the brand power to have people waiting in line for years to get their cars. So because of that, they have to be creative with the resources and the customer base they have. And the way they go about it fascinates me because they take a 720S and they're like, alright, what would happen if we take that 720S and streamline its design so much to try and achieve its highest top speed possible? And to differentiate it, we're gonna make it a hybrid and we're gonna give it 3 seats. And that's how the Speedtail was born. And then they go, what would happen if we took the same 720 and went in a relentless pursuit of low lap times and worked immensely on the aero department and gave it crazy downforce? So the Senna was born. And then they were like, alright, the Senna is great, but it's still a road car, meaning it's still restricted in many aspects. What if we didn't have to comply with any road legal requirements? And the Senna GTR came about. And that's what fascinates me. Other brands such as Ferrari limited themselves to maintain a certain level of exclusivity, while McLaren is out there trying out wild ideas. Yes, they have too many cars, yes, the specialness of their cars is diluted, but trying to rationalize and understand the reasoning behind each car is truly fascinating, and I feel like that's a perspective most people don't see through. They are more concerned about the negative side of McLaren's business plan, which does not affect the vast majority of us. But that's about it. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it and dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content of the sort, and until then, this has been Mark 6 and thanks for watching.